For everyone that has joined us today, welcome. Greetings, everyone. My name is Vyacheslav, or Slav for short, and I work as Elecard's EMEA's team manager. Now, despite that title, I am a certified IT guy, and I do get my hands dirty with some technical projects for IPTV and OTT systems from time to time. I am very smart, to a degree, but I'm not a genius in technical stuff, so that is why I am joined today by my colleague, Dmitry, who is the head of support and integration department in Elecard, and who will be with us during the webinar, and who will be helping with the Q&A tab, where you can ask any questions and we will provide the answers. I'm also joined today by our colleague from the India, who is Kumar Prasoon from Lamas, and who will introduce himself and talk about his company too.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Prasoon. I representing Lamas today. Thankful to Elecard has come into India to solve all the glitches, which was much more requirement of the day for the OTT and IPTV. Well, a little bit about Lamhas. We have been the official partner, and we have been last 2 decades into this industry, into satellite and IP video transmission and delivery. We have been catering to 300 plus Indian and international partners in broadcasting. We have been doing innovative IP and cloud-based solutions, communications, connectivity, and security services for business and government. We have got our offices in Mumbai, Delhi, and Hyderabad, and close to 100 plus team members in sales and support pan India. So, talking about the key OTT market players today, the major shares Disney Hotstar, Prime Video, and Netflix, apart from Z5, Geo Cinema, Wood, Sony. But we are going to be talking about the live streaming and what kind of glitches we can have it or error and how can we overcome those. So my friends are here, Slav and Dimitri, who are going to take it up from here.
Okay, thank you very much, Prasoon. Yes, we will be covering a lot of information today, so I hope you will be with us. Again, there will be a recording of this session. We are also having a live Q&A question test, so you can ask the questions in the Q&A tab, and we will do our best to answer them live as we go. But yes, as for the schedule for today, so the way I envision it, I will introduce our company, Elecard, for those people that do not know what we do and how we operate. I will talk about one of our major products, a Elecard Boro, a live stream monitoring system. And then we will discuss 4 general stream error types and examples of them, which will be the transport layer errors, perception level errors, specific OTT errors that are very interesting, especially for the market that we're working in right now, and SCT35 insertion for the advertisements and how it can go bad. We will also have a questionnaire in the middle when we will have some questions asked for you to answer. Okay, now we can begin with the session proper. You and me, OTT, IPTV, CDNs, ISP, telcos, e-games, sports arenas, and many, many more, we do our best to get the top video quality, stability, and compatibility across all devices for our clients. But our markets are growing, and they are not limitless. We are always under pressure to be on top, to have the best pictures, the best catalogs of VODs, the best video courses, backups for the backups, etc., etc. We have to take proactive measures rather than waiting for issues to arise, errors to happen, and streams to go dark. Even a minor and infrequent problem, a single packet loss, a sub-second jump in audio level, a single black frame, can significantly impact your reputation as social media swiftly disseminates news of operative mishaps. To summarize my idea, errors in broadcast have a direct impact on operators' revenue. Subscribers will cancel their subscription if the video quality goes bad, even for a couple of seconds. In today's saturated market, as you have seen on the previous slide by Prasoon, there is a lot of companies that are on the market playing right now for the clients. If you have a system, an OTT delivery or an IPTV, which you provide content through, if it goes bad, even for a couple of seconds, the client will notice, the client will post on social media, and the client will have a thought in their head, maybe I need to switch to something else. And of course, if the clients are start leaving your system, leaving your platform and going somewhere else, the numbers of viewers start to drop. You cannot get advertisements, you cannot get investments, you are in trouble. We have to stay ahead of potential issues by using tools that aid in prevention and fast resolution. And Elecard is all about that. A quick introduction for our company. We have been in the business for over 30 years. We have a lot of experiences. We have a lot of offices around the world and engineers pretty much in any corner. We created tools that help companies make sure the videos look great and play smoothly. Whether it's compressing the videos, checking the frame quality, or monitoring them in real time, we got you covered. Again, as Prasun have described, as we are partnered in India, our tools are used by broadcasters, IPTVs, and online streaming platforms to make sure their videos reach viewers without any issues. We have a bunch of cool products like video encoders for different video formats and packagers for streaming. Plus, we have solutions for video analysis and remultiplexing, restreaming, and recoding. And we have solutions for live stream monitoring, which we will focus on today because this is the main topic of the presentation. Now, back to the topic. I've been with Elecard for quite some time now, and I have witnessed firsthand how a video streaming pipeline, especially the whole system from source to the playout, that was guaranteed by the engineers that have built it to be leak-proof and problem-proof and to be perfect, started to deteriorate time over time, losing packets and decreasing the video quality in incremental little steps, which led to clients leaving. An issue that was left unresolved and unnoticed that cost the clients a lot of money because the people went away to another platform. So, what is Boro? That is the product that we'll be talking today. Elecard Boro, as it's stated on our website, elecard.com, by the way, if you missed it, is an IPTV monitoring software solution for UDP, RTP, HTTP, HLS-SRT, and RTMP streaming quality control and measurement of QoEs and QoE parameters in all segments of distributed networks. That is quite a mouthful. In simpler terms, Boro is a cloud-based live stream monitoring solution. Imagine your video stream as a road. Our little video packets are traveling down the road from the source, a camera, VOD system, or any other, to their final destination, a playout device. Some sort of a screen, TV, smartphone, or a gigantic screen on the side of a building. A lot can happen on that road. Packets can get lost, mismatched, squished, broken. They can arrive at the wrong time in the wrong order. They get kind of stuck. You see my point. The delivery system, especially if it's using an ISP or an intermediary system, a 3G, it can cause a lot of issues for the delivery itself. Now, Elecard Boro consists of two parts. Software probes that you can imagine as little gates or control points on the road, and the cloud server, which we can imagine as the HQ for the control points. As our little packets pass through the control points, they get their documents checked. Source, destination, position in the queue, content, encoding, and a lot of other stuff. But no matter the information they provide or don't, our little packets will continue the journey without any delay. Elecard Boro will not stop or delay or change the stream in any way. It will, however, report back to the HQ, the cloud server, that the packet traveling through this specific control point have provided mismatching information from the previous control point, meaning something happened to the packet between the 2 points. Why this is important to understand? Elecard Boro probes are little snippets of pre-configured software code that can be installed and run on any Windows or Linux machine. Meaning, you can have one probe to control all of your streams at one point after the encoder, for example, or you can deploy as many probes as you can imagine along the video pipeline. For example, at the video input source, before the encoder, after the encoder, before the packetizer, after the packetizer, before the CDN, after the CDN. You see my point. You can place little software probes practically along the whole road, and you will monitor at multiple points and you will see the packets as they go through. Not just see, but also check the data they provide. Elecard Boro probes are really resource light. You can run them on a Raspberry Pi machine, a little dongle if you want. We have had clients that have done that. Now, as for the cloud server, as I mentioned, Elecard Boro consists of two parts, probes and cloud server. We chose SAS, the cloud-based solution, for the ease of setup. It is very easy to register an account on our website, and you do not have to worry about configuring the probes themselves. When you register an account, you create your login page, and you can download pre-configured probes and install them within 15 minutes. Yes, literally, to test our product, you can go from registering to installing and seeing the product live within half an hour tops. Now, while we're at it, we might as well take a look at Boro itself. This is the main page, the live view. As you can see, we have multiple probes and multiple streams coming. This is only a picture, but you can check on our website, elecard.com, monitoring, Boro. We have a live demo. On the live demo, you can enter and you can see our simulated broadcasts and streams that are coming from Europe, and they are showing errors specifically so we can showcase how Boro works. Now, you can imagine this. These are streams, and in the actual live demo, they're scrolling from right to left. If it's green, everything is okay. If it's yellow, there is a small problem. Usually a tiny blip, a TR-101290 continuity count issue, or something small. Nevertheless, if the issue is small, it doesn't matter. It's an issue. It happened. Small issues that happen time over time, again and again, are caused by something. Either it's a hardware malfunction or a software configuration malfunction, or there is something even more sinister. We'll get to that when we'll start explaining the examples. Again, green, everything is okay. Yellow, some small problems. Orange, that's a bigger issue. It could be a playlist loading failed for the OTTs or something more problematic, like, for example, some hard jitter. If it's red, it's a critical error, and pretty much you're going to lose the stream pretty soon. It can be a bad source or no signal, no video. You get the point. If it's black, the stream is dead. If it's blue, it's a video freeze. Video freezes are a bit tricky because they can be done on purpose, especially if you have an advertisement or if you have a transcoding testing somewhere in the middle of the night. Boro will detect it because there is nothing happening on the screen, but the stream is live. So it's a bit of a picky one, but it can be configured. So that is the thing. Now, again, returning to my example of packets traveling down the road, Elecard Boro will not slow down your stream. It will not change anything in the stream in any way. Then, unfortunately, Elecard Boro will not fix your problems for you. Elecard Boro is a solution for monitoring and notifying. In general, if something bad happens, it will ring a big bell and show you, sir, there is a problem here. You need to take a look at it now and fix it. Now, as for the bell itself, you can customize and configure the notification triggers for each level and each individual issue and error. For example, you can imagine that if you have a system that works, but using Boro, it shows one specific error time over time, but you know about it. It's not caused by the malfunctioning devices or some misconfiguration in the software. It's caused by some reason that you know about and you do not have to worry about it. You can disable it. So for example, you can disable the thresholds for it or disable it altogether. On the other hand, if you'd like to be notified about every single issue or every single trigger that happens, you can do that. You can configure to receive logs daily or weekly, or even by a pager duty or telegram. And you can even configure a notification system to trigger an audio alarm in your engineer's office if something bad happens. Very nice feature. Now, speaking of logs, we can take a quick look at the KPI and QoS. Again, I would like to stress very, very hard that Boro is a live stream monitoring system that works 24/7. Because it works 24/7 and watches all of your streams, it collects a lot of data. Using that data over an extended period of time, you can collect and create KPI reports. KPI reports are the little numbers behind my head, which are called total availability score. If you can imagine, you want that score to be 100% at all times. That's great. You can monitor the stream live, and if it's green, it's great. You can see it visually. But if a slight tiny error happens somewhere in the middle of the night, you will not see it visually, or you can miss it. It happens. But KPI will have it. If KPI has it, it's going to report that the stream was 100% available last week, 99.9 this week. Okay, something happened. Because its score went down, there was an issue. It fixed itself because the stream is still live, but something happened for a tiny fraction. If it happened, it's fine. But if it starts to happen again and again, for example, if you lose 10 packets per day, that's not catastrophic. 10 packets will not do much damage to the stream. The video will continue to go through, but at the same time, if it happens, there is a reason for it. So 10 packets lost today, 10 packets lost tomorrow, 15 the day after. Something is deteriorating. You need to look at it. And the Boro probes will show you exactly where the packets are lost and where you need to point your attention to. Of course, if you have systems that are huge and they have like hundreds and thousands of channels, well, realistically hundreds and 200s, there is a compact view that you can dive even deeper into the stream specifics, bandwidth and configurations for the TR101s. Boro collects a lot of data, Boro shows a lot of data, and it can help you in very, very sensible ways. Sounds good? Okay, so I do believe this covers the major introduction of the companies and the introduction of our product, Elecard Boro, that is used in all of the examples that we will be looking at today. In major, we're going to take a look at 4. This will be the transport level errors, perception level errors, OTT specifics, and ad insertion problems. Let's start with the first one, transport level errors. This is our beloved issue number 1, packet loss. In non-guaranteed delivery protocols, such as UDP, RTP, and sometimes even SRT, packets can go astray, leading to data distortion on the client's end. Imagine, I had a client who used Boro for an extended period of time. They had the probes and encoders, packetizers, and CDN entry points. So the client is covering the whole internal video pipeline pretty solidly. 3 probes within the environment is a very good sign. And they check it, and everything is good. The video is good at the encoder, packetizer, CDN, everything is perfect, 100%. But at the same time, the client is receiving signals from the customers that the signal they receive is bad, that the video is distorted, or inconsistent audio levels. That's problematic. That's a bad thing. So we have deployed another probe after the CDN. Effectively, we have installed a probe that was emulating a playout device on the client's side. And voila. What do you know? Consistent packet loss. This is evident from the CC errors in the graphs and columns. The loss of packets is so bad that there is actual destruction of the timestamps, as they indicated by the blue bars, and the break in the volume graph. So the stream just drops in the middle and then starts to go again. For the client, that's pretty much black screen, effectively. If you're looking at a movie, it goes black for 10 seconds. That's not good. Luckily, this was a momentary loss and it remained, but it was a problematic thing for the client to experience. Obviously, what do you do in a situation like this? If the client knows, and the OTT operator knows, especially the transport layer one, they have went to the telecom operator, the ISP, that was providing the signal for the last mile delivery. They have come to them and say, guys, we have a system that shows that our video stream within our pipeline is perfect, but in your delivery, that is after hours, we have issues. We see problems, we see packet loss, something bad is happening with your hardware. Obviously, the ISP replied with, no, everything is fine on our end, which is a lie. They didn't lie necessarily because they want to cover their ass or something bad happens to them. No, it is the general reply that you always give to any clients that comes to you and say that something is bad within your system. Nothing wrong with that. So our client have collected the reports from Boro. They have collected the reports, the visual parts, the logs, all the information that could get, and they went to the ISP again. This time, they were able to show and even show the timestamps, time codes, specific times and streams where the issue happened. When our client and the ISP compared logs, they found out that there was a stream loss and packet loss on the ISP side. So, to recap, the issue with the stream was caused by the third party handling the video stream after the client's hardware. If you have a system that you take the content from a source, transcode it, and send it to somewhere else, you can imagine that what you can control and monitor. What comes after you, it's out of your hands. But with Boro, you can emulate a playout device, install another probe at the furthest end of the delivery pipeline, and you can see if the client is receiving what the client should receive, a 100% pristine, clean video stream. Now, let's take a look at the less obvious case, perception level issues. This is another client at the completely other part of the world. It is a small one. It's a small client running a local news agency. They have a website, social media accounts, a couple of live streams, and they push it to social media platforms. So effectively, they take a video from a little camera, convert it, and push it to YouTube. Social media is fine. Again, Boro is scalable. So you can install it with startups, single camera web studios, or you can deploy it on OTT and IPTV headends. Scalable. Probes can be installed at multiple places, and if you want one probe, it's fine. If you want 10, fine again. So the client runs Boro for a few months, and they come back to us saying, we have this warning pop up from time to time, and we have no idea what to make of it. So the stream is fine, but Boro is showing an issue. But the stream is okay. The video is fine, everything works, but Boro is sending us notification time and time, day and day. Can you please explain what this means? So our engineers checked the logs, checked the stream, checked the decodability, and got a simple reply. You do see it, yes? See the problem? The client's encoder, which was a very expensive piece of equipment, a hardware box from a very renowned and well-known company that we all know, was showing errors. Specifically, it was failing to create subframes and causing gaps in incorrectly decoded frames. Failures at the elementary level become visible when they are perceived by the downstream, essentially. So the stream is okay here. It is encoded and it is pushed as a video down the line. But within the stream itself, there are spikes and gaps. If we look at the stream itself proper and what Boro was pointing to, we can see that the real FPS received is 24, but the statistics for it are 20. Essentially, this means that the incoming stream is inconsistent. And when we checked with the actual client and they checked further up the line from the receiving end, we have found out that that is exactly the case. The client was receiving a bad input stream that was inconsistent. So when there is a gap, a jump, visually it's fine. No packets are exactly causing a video issue, but there is a problem on the encoding side. The encoder on the client side receives the bad stream, does the best it can with it, even with packets lost, and then it pushes it down the line. It's fine at the source, it's okay at the encoder, but when the stream arrives at the YouTube, there is a problem. Okay? I see a person would like to join. Yes.
Thank you, Slab. Well, if we talk about the Indian market current scenario, the landscape of entertainment consumption has dramatically transformed. It's into evolution, second phase, from broadcast TV to internet-based services. As video streaming has become increasingly popular, the two key technologies has emerged: IPTV and OTT. So when we talk about the current uh, market of OTT, we are expecting close to 650 million users in India, out of 6.4 billion worldwide by 2029. User penetration currently has been 34.1% in India, when we are expecting 42.2% by 2029. Wherein average revenue per user is $8.26 currently. 7.743 is as per CAGR, and likely to reach by 5.81 billion by 2029. So video streaming or SVOD, largest Indian market, is 2.0 billion by 2024. That's the reason why Boro is the need of the hour.
Mm.
Every package lost is a revenue loss, any kind of a loss.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that is very, very true, especially in the emerging market and the ones that are expanding and growing from day to day. Any changes in the system are hard. Specifically, if you have an existing IPTV system and the client wants to go to the OTT, because it is expanding. Everyone has a cell phone and they can always watch on the smartphone video. So
That's
a
true.
lot of people are joining and a lot of people are switching from the old DVB TVs to the new ones. The market is growing and you need to ensure that your stream is 100% perfect at all times. Because as we said, the market is big, but it's not limitless. So it's already carved out by big companies that say we can provide information and streams 100% of times all the time. But at the same time, if you are trying to enter this market and your stream is inconsistent, there are issues, small gaps, audio level is inconsistent, some dips and gaps, clients will leave. That's why you need to use all the tools you can get to ensure that you are providing the best video stream you can. Okay, so speaking of OTT, this will be our next case. Specifically, another client, again, from another part of the world, but this one is an OTT system that is running their own CDN network. In the CDN network, as you can imagine, it is a big company. So they have their own video catalog, they have the VOD system, they have the live streams going. It's a big client. So they are pretty set in terms of hardware. They have professional encoders, they have professional monitoring software for the clients, for the CDN, for the feedback loop, a lot of things. Again, they use Boro for some small minor checks. And at the same time, Boro has detected an issue. I'm pretty sure you can see it. There is an empty space in the graph. To explain this case, this is Boro probes deployed at the entry point of the CDN and at the edge nodes. Specifically, you can imagine it before the CDN and after the CDN. So the video streams goes into the CDN. It gets routed by the correct route by the client's location, ISP provision, or what kind of cloud streams they can allow. And then the video stream comes out of the cloud. Boro sees that the stream is not just inconsistent, it doesn't exist. Again, we see, well, technically behind me, that there is an inconsistency in the discontinuity error counter. Specifically, it goes from 161.1.1 to 161.50, meaning a segment was not downloaded from a specific CDN node. Yeah, that part. This was caused by an anomaly within the CDN cloud, but the client did not disclose the actual information why it was caused within the cloud itself. We do presume that it was a hardware issue within the last delivery mile, and the CDN edge, at least one point of the CDN edge, was misbehaving. Why this is very important to understand. Boro is not just a simple solution. Boro collects a lot of data. So in this specific example, Boro probes were installed before and after the CDN. In any regular system, it would have been fine. So the regular system would detect that the stream is green, everything is fine, you're good. But with Boro, we are able to detect the actual URI of the stream that is coming from the CDN. Specifically, we can detect which edge node is used at that specific time for that specific segment of the playlist. Again, why this is very important, if one of the hardwares within the cloud is misbehaving, your system will miss it. Your system might miss it, not necessarily will, but in this example, it did, and Boro detected it. In simpler terms, the client didn't know they have an issue because their system for CDN control showed that the CDN is fine, that the streams are coming in, streams are going out, everything is okay. But Boro was configured in such a way that it detected a bad URI from a bad edge node and notified the client of the issue before the client knew there was an issue. Okay, The final example for today would be the SCT35 bad insertion, or specifically, mush. This is one of my favorite cases because it's very hard to detect. It's even harder to predict and fix, but when it happens, it happens. Specifically, it can be hard to spot, for sure. A bad ad insertion will cause data mosh, specifically in SCT35. So bad data mosh is caused by a bad IDR, specifically when the advertisement is not starting from an IDR frame. It's very problematic because you cannot predict it. Effectively, it is the splicer that is putting the advertisement in the middle of your stream, and if it places it badly, you saw what happens, effectively, yeah. So, in order to not prevent it, because preventing it would be very nice, we have devised a very specific mode for Boro. Effectively, when Boro works, it collects snapshots of your video stream at regular intervals of approximately 1.5 seconds. This can be configured depending on your needs. But specifically for the SCT35, we have devised a turbo mode. What happens is, when Boro detects that there is an advertisement incoming, specifically with the preload markers in the stream, Boro will enter a different mode and start taking snapshots at a more regular pace, more specifically, more often. When that happens, more screenshots are taken, the logs are more extensive, there is additional information about the SCT insertion collected for that specific part, and it is a bit extended specifically. Why this is important? If there is an issue with your ad insertion at a specific time, you cannot prevent it. You cannot see it incoming, it just happens. When it happens once in the middle of the night, it's a problem, it's not a huge one. If it happens again in the middle of the day, it is a more problematic issue because the advertiser who would like to show the advertisement paid you as a company to provide a spot on the stream to show their ad. They have paid a lot of money to create this ad. They want the client to see it. If they pay you and you do not deliver, the advertisement that you're showing is moshed, is completely garbage, and it cannot be understood. The advertiser will not be happy. Can it be prevented? Technically, yes, but at the same time, if it happens, you need to know when it happened, why it happened. It is a splicer issue, effectively. So that is why Boro has devised a turbo mode. In the turbo mode, a lot of data is collected. There you can even configure a specific notification to be sent to all engineers if this happens. And again, it's a very important part because you now have the logs, you now have the visual confirmation that the issue occurred, and you can show it to the advertiser and say, okay, well, your advertisement was showing here, it was showing that day, last week, the week before that, and that specific problem occurred. Okay, fine, we will fix it. Prasun, go ahead.
Thanks again, Slav. Talking about SCT35, definitely, it allows for increased monetization opportunities for broadcasters and content providers by enabling, segmenting of viewers into specific demographics and geographic locations. But then it has to be very precise, error-free kind of a thing, definitely. Because every kind of a glitch, as you rightly said, there's a revenue loss for each kind
Always.
of broadcasters.
Yep.
Yes, Slav.
At the same time, with this specific log and error correction, you don't have to actually look at it as just an error detecting issue. For example, if you have advertisers that pay you to show their advertisement this many times throughout this many days, you can use the same logs to show and confirm that their advertisement was shown. Here is the pictures, here is the timestamps, confirmation that it was done.
So ideally, a telecast certificate used to be generated earlier, known as TC, into the broadcasters. So similarly for OTT players, this Boro can help with a kind of a telecast certificate. This was the particular advertisement. It was shown at this particular time. And this,
yes.
And that definitely adds to the happiness of advertisers. You don't have to pay to the third-party agencies to monitor your ad.
Yes, which is very important because you can connect directly to the advertiser himself and without no third party in the middle, which usually are happening.
True.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we are getting questions.
Yes. So again, this was the final example for the SCT35 insertion, and Boro has a specific mode to detect the bad insertion specifically, or to provide additional information that can be then passed on to the advertisers for free, or you can charge for it if you would like. Okay. I do believe this covers the main part, and we can move over to the Q&A now. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. Okay, I see that we have answered a couple. So one was from Tadeusz. Let's see, do you provide SAS or perpetual model? Yes, for Boro, we have both. There is an SAS, as you can imagine, the cloud, or the perpetual one that you can deploy on premise. If the client is concerned that they do not want to send the information to some unknown cloud in the Europe, which is fair, or the client has a specific interest in using Boro as an in-house solution, even as a white label, yes, it can be installed locally, or it can be installed in the client's personal cloud. Can be done. So there's two different pricing models for that. Can the system monitor MPTS? Yes, multicast and single casts, MPTS as well as SPTS. Is it possible to record the problematic streams? Very much yes. That is one of the actual key components that we have in Boro. As you can imagine, if you have an issue happening in your stream, it's a problem. Boro will detect it, Boro will notify you, and Boro will create a log. In the log, you will see all the technical information about the issue that occurred, which is very important. At the same time, if you need additional information to be collected, you can configure a recording mechanism for the stream. Specifically, in the configuration, you can set up a pre-recording of the issue and then the actual recording duration. For example, let's say that we have let's return back to the SCT35. If you detect there is a bad SCT5 insertion, or for example, a packet loss, you can configure the trigger for the packet loss to, if it happens, there is going to be a pre-recording of, say, 20 seconds before the issue, and then another 40 seconds after the issue happens. So now you have a little snippet recording of the TS, 60 seconds in duration, that you can download as a video file, and you can later analyze in other products. Again, looping back to the Elecard as a company, we have solutions for transcoding, live stream monitoring, and we have products for video file analysis too. This would be the perfect case to use a StreamEye for GOP or in-frame analysis, or Stream Analyzer that can show you the packets and the PIDs of the stream. So again, this way you can utilize multiple products from Elecard that work in tangent between each other. Well, if there are no questions now, yes, person, you wanted to add something?
I believe once the users have their hands on it, they are getting used on it, and definitely
For sure.
they may have some questions.
Yes.
But they'll have more solutions rather than questions.
Yes, hopefully that's the one we want to provide. Okay, sure. So if you have any questions that you can follow up with, you can always contact us by email or directly by phone. And speaking of Elecard Boro, you can go to elecard.com and you can register a trial account that you can later use to actually test our product in full. If you register a trial account, you can log in. You can use the trial account for 7 days. There are no limitations on the functionality. You get the full functionality, but only for 7 days. And you can download the pre-configured probes. You can download them, install them, launch them, and they work effectively. Simple as that. So you don't have to mess about with the installation, with some technical stuff, with some technical questions. It's a very, very easy and open solution, effectively. So if you would like to, you can go to our website right now, register a trial account, and just use the solution for 7 days, test your own streams, see the technical data, and if something happens, you can connect to us via tech support or live chat and say, okay, guys, I'm testing your product and I see this issue, or I need to configure it to work this way. Can be done. When you're testing the product, we provide full technical support for free. So yes, that would be the one. I see we have another question in the Q&A from Nicola. Can you detect lip sync? Okay, this is a technical question, so I will pass the torch and the microphone to Dmitry, who can help with that. Dmitry?
Thank you, Slav. Yeah, regarding the lip sync, this is a good question actually. As of right now, Boro is not able to notify regarding the lip sync. However, as Slav have mentioned, that you can create a record and then check with the stream analyzer too. So in case this lip sync is caused by some kind of timestamps mismatch or gap, so-called interleaving between the video and audio, you will be able to detect it, but in, let's say, in manual mode. But as of right now, there is no option to do this in Boro, like in automatic mode. But we are working on that. So yeah, we are pretty familiar with these kind of requests. And so yeah, we are working on that.
Thank you, Dmitry. Again, this is very important to understand. Boro is not one solution does it all. It is a very nice one, but it majorly focuses on monitoring and detection and notification. When it monitors the issue, again, it's very scalable from one probe to multiple probes at multiple locations, which is a very nice thing because you don't have to pay for specific hardware to be installed at multiple points. I'll remind you, Boro is very resource light. You can use a tiny Raspberry Pi device or a Nuke, which is a tiny computer that you can connect at anywhere in your network and capture the streams through the software probes. Again, you can use it just as a monitoring system, or you can use it to detect and record a specific stream part. For the lip sync, yes, I would imagine that you can set a specific trigger to make a recording from, say, every hour for 10 seconds. But then you download the file and you analyze it manually. Yes, it would be very, very nice to actually have an option to synchronize and see if the lip sync is correct. But from the packet's point of view, it's a bit of a technical thing to confirm visually. And computers do not do visual just yet that well. With some AI systems, maybe, but you still have an engineer that can do it better. Dmitry?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I just wanted to say regarding the questionnaire that probably we forgot to mention. So would you like to, Slav? Yeah.
Yo. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we are issuing the questionnaire, and we are wanted our attendees to fill in this like simple form to help us to develop the product and to understand how we can help you with our tools in a more efficient way.
Yeah. Again, you should see a new window on your screen right now that is showing you questions about the product. Effectively, it is a brief questionnaire. You can fill in the forms, you can provide some answers to us, and we will have them as answers from you. It is sort of a feedback form.
And a little note for me is that we are providing the 1 month trial for everybody who attend our webinar. So this is a good bonus. I believe
It's a good,
so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good bonus for everyone that has attended today, because if you see it as a recording, you'll not get this option. Again, if you go to our website and you register a trial account, you will have it for 7 days. If you would like to test it for a longer period, say a month, you can. So now for your participation, we will reward you with this account.
We'll be finishing up till Broadcast India show.
Yes, that is for sure. I do believe, yes, if you are going to the Broadcast India, which is the next big expo in the region, our team will be there, and we would like to meet you live. We will have all the demos for all the products that we have. You can check them out. You can ask your questions live, and if you have any interest in custom products or questions how our products can be customized for your specific needs, or if you would like to know how we can help you launch a new branch. For example, if you're moving from IPTV to OTT systems, we can assist with that for sure. So you can come to the expo, or you can check other expos around the world, because again, Elecard has offices pretty much everywhere. So if you're not in India right now, we have been at ABC, we will be at NAB. We're going to be pretty much at any major expo that there will be. Okay, so I see most of the participants have answered the questionnaire. If you haven't had a chance to ask it, it's fine. It's good. So we can finish up. I think this should be fine for now. Again, thank you everyone so much for joining us today and taking your time to listen to us talking about our solutions and what kind of major issues it can solve you with. I think we can finish up. So guys, Dmitry, Prasun, thank you very much for helping me today with the demo. It should be a pleasure working with you again.
Thank you, Slav. Thank you for covering.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you, everyone, and see you in Broadcast India show. We are in J4. So
J4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
any
you can join.
questions, live interactions with the Elecard team, you are most welcome out there. Thank you, everyone, once again. Thank you, friends and colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.